I've made plenty of mistakes over the years keeping shrimp, and I made a video detailing 11 of them. What I didn't expect was just how many of you had your own stories to share. So many of you left detailed comments about mistakes you'd made. Some of them were reminders of ones I'd also made and forgotten about. Today, I'm doing something a little different. I'm going through your mistakes, the ones you shared with me, so we can all learn from them together. Mistakes are part of this hobby no matter how long you've been in it, and the more of these stories we share, the less we have to learn the hard way. Let's dive right in. Our first mistake comes from Ethan. Ethan did everything right at first. He cycled his tank, let the biofilm and algae establish, and picked up 6 Bloody Mary shrimp as his very first shrimp. He drip acclimated them, and for a while, everything was going great. Then he did his first water change, and that's where things went sideways. He used distilled water, but didn't remineralize it enough before adding it to the tank. That softened his water more than he realized, and within a day, he lost 3 shrimp to failed molts. Here's what happened. Distilled water starts out with basically 0 minerals in it, so it's up to you to add those minerals back to match your tank's water parameters. 2 things matter here: GH, which stands for general hardness, and KH, or carbonate hardness. Shrimp need both within a healthy range to molt successfully. Part of that molting process is rebuilding their shell from scratch, and minerals are what make that possible. Without enough of them, a molt can fail, and a failed molt is often fatal. Once Ethan figured out what was going on, he tested his water, did a smaller water change with proper remineralization, and brought his GH and KH back up to match his tank's parameters. His colony recovered. Just keep in mind, if you're using distilled or RO water, don't add it straight to your tank. Remineralize it first, and test your GH and KH after so you know it's actually where it needs to be before it affects your shrimp. Our second mistake comes from Oni. Oni hasn't run into this personally, but wanted to give a heads up after reading about shrimp keepers losing shrimp to store-bought vegetables, specifically from copper residue left from fertilizers or pesticides. This is a real risk worth taking seriously. Shrimp are extremely sensitive to copper, even in small amounts, and produce can carry pesticide or copper-based agricultural residue on its surface. It actually makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Plant pesticides are designed to kill pests like snails and bugs, and shrimp are invertebrates too, so even trace amounts can affect them the same way. Now, when it comes to organic vegetables, organic certification still allows certain pesticides, including some that are copper-based. So whether you buy organic or non-organic vegetables, you need to take certain precautions. Here's how you can lower that risk. Buy clean, undamaged produce from a source you trust and wash it thoroughly under cool running water. For vegetables like cucumber or zucchini, peeling the skin removes another layer of potential residue. Blanching briefly also helps. The hot water can loosen and dissolve some surface residue that a cold rinse alone might not fully remove, and it softens the vegetable so it sinks and is easier for your shrimp to eat. Make sure to cool the vegetable down before feeding it, and never use soap or household cleaners to wash produce meant for your tank. Once it's in the tank, don't let uneaten pieces sit too long. Pull them out after 24 hours before they start affecting your water quality. If you want to eliminate the risk almost entirely, consider growing your own vegetables at home. You'll know exactly what has or hasn't touched them, no guessing involved. If that's not realistic for you, look for produce grown without pesticides, or stick to food made specifically for aquarium shrimp. Speaking of what goes into your tank, if you'd rather take the guesswork out of feeding altogether, my collection of shrimp food is designed specifically with shrimp in mind. It's split into 2 categories: staple foods and complementary foods. Starting with the staple foods, ones you can feed once or multiple times a week, I use Fuse, a carefully balanced fusion of land and sea ingredients, combining proteins like salmon, krill, and shrimp with algae, yeast, and essential vitamins. Then there's Vita, which is entirely plant-based, made from carrot, spinach, kale, beetroot, pumpkin, and sweet potato, all naturally rich in fiber, minerals, and antioxidants. As for the complementary foods that work well as weekly additions or occasional treats, I give them Snow, which is made from soybean hull pellets that are high in fiber and doubles as a great vacation food. Then there's Buzz, which is pure natural bee pollen, packed with protein, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Tree is another one I use, made from moringa leaves and naturally rich in vitamins, minerals, and trace elements, including calcium. Rounding things out is Alga, made of pure organic spirulina. It's also loaded with protein, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. If you'd like to try any of these foods, pick up an individual bag or grab one of the various packs. Use promo code FOREVER10 for 10% off. Skittle Squad members on Patreon also unlock exclusive member pricing, along with behind-the-scenes access and deeper insight into everything happening in my aquariums. You'll find links in the description and pinned comment below. Our third mistake comes from KDP, though it was actually her dad who caused it. She recalls that many years ago, when she was a kid, her family had a fairly large aquarium. This aquarium was about 20 to 30 gallons in size, or 75 to 113 liters. One year, when she and her family were going on vacation, her dad decided to turn off the power to the aquarium to save on the electricity bill. When they came back, everything in the aquarium was dead. With the aquarium's power being off, the filter was no longer running. This means there was no more filtration and no gas exchange taking place either. There likely would have been a spike in ammonia and nitrite levels, and the inhabitants would have had trouble breathing due to the lack of oxygen. Also, to make matters worse, the temperature would have dropped drastically over the course of those days, adding to the initial stress. If your tank relies on equipment, that equipment needs power to keep your inhabitants alive. It's very important that before you go on vacation, you do not turn off the power to your aquarium. I would also double check everything before leaving to ensure everything is working properly. The last thing you want when returning from a relaxing vacation is a stressful disaster to deal with the minute you walk through the door. Our fourth mistake comes from tanking around. They used API algae fix in their aquarium to treat an algae problem and ended up killing their shrimp. It's one of the worst mistakes they've made. API algae fix is not safe for aquariums that contain shrimp or any other crustaceans like crabs and crayfish. The bottle actually has a warning message displayed on it. It's easy to lose an entire colony, even from just a few drops. This product contains a strong algae-killing chemical that is also very toxic to invertebrates like shrimp, damaging their gills and quickly causing death. If you have any shrimp in your tank, do not use API algae fix. Instead, control algae by preventing it in the first place, and if you already have algae, use products like hydrogen peroxide or APT Fix Lite that are considered safe when used as directed. If you're currently experiencing an issue with algae, I created a video all about it, which you can access in the top right corner or in the description below. Not every product is designed with shrimp in mind, so it's on you to check. Always read the labels for any product you're about to buy. Warning messages are easy to miss, and it's worth checking the ingredients for copper too, since that's toxic to shrimp as well. Our fifth mistake comes from Alex, though it was actually their grandmother who caused it. Alex's grandmother always wanted to feed their aquarium, but Alex had always asked her not to. While Alex was on vacation, their grandmother decided to feed the tank. Instead of using the regular fish food, she accidentally used food that contained antibiotics, not knowing there was a difference between the two. She fed the tank for the duration of Alex's trip, and when Alex returned, they found their shrimp, fancy goldfish, and rare bristlenose plecos all dead. It actually made Alex quit the hobby for 3 years. Unfortunately, this can happen very easily when you have people that may not be in the hobby taking care of your aquariums while you're away. They can easily overfeed, and in Alex's case, feed the wrong food. What I recommend, based on personal experience, is to portion the food and leave it on or beside the aquarium. Leave a note beside the food mentioning when to feed the inhabitants and where to place the food in the tank in case you're like me and want it added where the water flows out of the filter. You can even take this one step further by demonstrating to your friend, family member, or whoever is taking care of your aquarium how to feed your tank. This way you ensure your tank's inhabitants are fed the right food, in the right quantity, in the proper manner, and you don't risk a mix-up like the one that cost Alex their entire tank. Our sixth mistake comes from Citizen 13. They have a high-tech aquarium with CO2 injection. After performing some maintenance on their tank and changing something with their regulator, they failed to check their CO2 bubble counter. 2 hours into injecting CO2 into their tank, they noticed that not one shrimp was visible. They panicked, knowing something was seriously wrong. Basically what had happened is that they injected too much CO2, which lowered the oxygen availability in the tank. They ended up losing a handful of shrimp, including a large Amano Shrimp. Luckily, most of the shrimp survived. They just ended up going into hiding because they were severely stressed. Set it and forget it doesn't apply to CO2. It's always a good idea to check your CO2 regulator every now and then. Even good regulators can slowly start giving more gas than they should or stop turning off properly. If that happens, your CO2 level can get too high without you noticing, which can lower pH considerably, cause unnecessary stress, lethargy, loss of coordination, and death. A quick visual check of the bubble counter and your tank's pH once in a while can help catch problems early. Our seventh mistake comes from Jaylin. Jaylin accidentally used only aqua soil in his tank, thinking it was nutrient-rich and inert. Well, he was half right. Jay Lin didn't mention exactly what happened to his shrimp afterward, but my best guess is they became stressed. Since aquasoil isn't just plant food, it actively changes your water parameters by making it softer and more acidic. Neocaridina shrimp usually do best in neutral to slightly hard water that's consistently stable. Aquasoil can easily shift water parameters, making things harder to manage, especially for beginners. A good workaround is to put a layer of aquasoil on the bottom for the plants, then cover it with a thick layer of inert sand or gravel. This gives your shrimp a normal surface to walk on while the plants can still reach the nutrient-rich soil underneath. Just remember, even with capping, the aquasoil will still affect your water over time, so you'll want to keep an eye on your water parameters and be ready to adjust if the water gets too soft or acidic. Personally, I use this method and I've never experienced an issue with my shrimp. Aquasoil isn't shrimp friendly for every species. For most beginner tanks, plain inert sand or gravel with root tabs for plants is simpler and more stable. If you already have aquasoil or really want it for plants, capping it works well. Just keep testing your GH and pH for the first few months until you know things are stable. Finally, our 8th mistake comes from Scarface. They added 3 Gardneri killifish to their tank and covered it with a makeshift lid to the best of their ability. Unfortunately, one of the males found the smallest gap possible and jumped out of the tank in the middle of the night. This happens more often than you think. I experienced the same issue with my coolie loaches when I first got into the hobby. I've also seen my Pinocchio shrimp jump out of a lidless tank. More recently, when I set up my Snow Zebra Sulawesi shrimp tank, one of my Aquarists corridoras managed to jump out as well. In most of these cases, it was because I filled up the tank too high without leaving about an inch of space from the top. I definitely learned my lesson. No matter what you get, it's always important to learn as much as you can about that species. I think the one thing we tend to overlook is whether or not they can actually jump out of a tank. There are some species, like the Gardneri killifish and hatchetfish, they're incredible jumpers, so you want to ensure you have a tight-fitting lid with no gaps or holes to prevent them from jumping out. Mistakes will happen no matter how experienced or prepared you are. This video is proof of that. As long as you're willing to learn from them, you'll be just fine. I want to thank all of you for sharing your stories in order to help others learn from them. I definitely learned something today. This hobby can bring a lot of enjoyment. Don't let a few mistakes get in your way. Use them as opportunities to improve your skills and provide the best possible care for your shrimp and fish. If this video resonated with you, let me know in the comments which mistake hit closest to home, or feel free to share one of your own. Down the line, this could become a series of videos. Now, if you're new to shrimp keeping and would love to learn more about Neocaridina shrimp or how to avoid some of the mistakes I made, check out these videos next. You'll also find links to my premium shrimp food collection in the description and pinned comment below. If you'd like to support this channel and everything I'm building, join the Skilled Squad on Patreon. There's a lot more waiting for you there. I'm Andy, thanks for watching, and I hope I made shrimp keeping a little easier for you. I'll catch you in the next one.